press fit. So basically I would drive that into the bottom since it's a press fit. Now see, it came with plastic fittings on them, and they were trash, man, and they were basically glued in there. I tried to get it out, but this little guy here, he goes back to the reservoir, or expansion tank? Expansion tank, I think is what you call it. So the factory threads, I took it to a couple of places, and they couldn't even identify the threads, which any of you guys that know a little something about something know that it's just threads. It's either going to be a metric or standard thread, maybe a British standard, maybe. But so what I did was I just took some MPT taps and went ahead, tapped the little one to 1/8 inch MPT and the bigger hole to 1/2 inch MPT. So this is a PEX fitting. It's just a PEX 90 I picked up from the hardware store. Test fitted fine, you know, not a big deal. Yeah, and you notice that's brass. I replaced all the plastic fittings with brass. That way I would never have to worry about another breakage ever again. It worked well. It fit great. And then there was this one. This is the 1/2 inch MPT one. Obviously he goes into the fat hole. Now, yeah. See? Now, if you look at the back side of these threads, you'll see how I cut that off? You see that I cut that down. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's fine. See, the threads were so long on the factory one that they actually stuck into that chamber right there and would keep the top cap from seating all the way down. That's why I had to trim the threads down on that. So if you guys do this, you're going to have to do the same thing. So went ahead, ground them down so it's a perfect fit. Nothing, there's no interference. Just make sure you clock it correctly as well, because there's two positions to lock in. See that pin on the top cap? If you look inside, there's little rails where you'll see it fits directly in there. There's two different ways. Now, let's go ahead and pause this video right here. Hang on. So, what I'm explaining here is that little aluminum block that's bolted to. What that is I took a chunk of aluminum, and believe it or not, I still have it to this day. It was out in my toolbox. This is it right here. And you can see the machining marks in it. So first thing I did was chuck it up in a mill and square it up. Square it up to be perfectly square, and drilled the holes. Actually, a buddy of mine, I think, drilled the holes in here, and I think he did this part. And bless his heart, look at that. I don't know if it shows up on camera, but he even put helicoils in there. And the reason one would do this is for repeatability. If you guys are just making a couple of these, you could just tap right into the aluminum. It'd be fine. But the thing was at the time, I think I was focused on it being really rigid, as well as possibly starting to do these, like selling them. But I never got into it. But I still have the chunk of aluminum right here. Now, if we go back to the video, you'll see here I'm explaining the reason it was I tried it with a belt sander grinding on the top, but you can't get anything perfectly flat with a belt sander. So what I did was, this block was created in order to mount in a vise of a mill, okay? In order to mill off the very top of the cap. So if we back up here just a little bit, right, yeah, okay, so I do kind of explain that. So basically it was to get a perfectly flat milled surface. Now the reason being for that is so the top cap would fit perfect on that. See, if you're belt sanding it's a little off or something, it's not, the top cap's not going to fit right, and you may not get proper sealing of that O-ring on top. As you see here, I'm test fitting the O-ring on there. The O-ring was perfect. I don't know what size that O-ring is. I never found that out because mine was perfect and I was able to reuse it. So it allowed that top to fit perfectly flat on there and seal properly. So this was part of the this is part of the work right here, but then the even biggest part came next. That's figuring out how to hold that cap down. So I came up with this. This looks kind of trashy, but it was a very effective piece. I literally just fabbed it out of scrap steel. This is a piece of 2-inch black iron pipe that I took a little slice off of, and then I dug out some other scrap steel and welded on those little triangles on there, as well as those nuts. Now, if I had the time, I would have really loved to just CNC a nice aluminum top hat, like basically the same shape, but out of billet aluminum. That would have been really nice, but for this project, I literally just made that that crappy little one. So, see how it fits over there just like that? I think this is the part where I struggle with it a little. I struggle with it a little bit right here. Oh, man. Oh, there you go. Okay, good job, dude. Yeah. So, yeah, I would have really liked to make a CNC version of this, or out of billet, but this is what I had, and this was just for testing purposes, but lo and behold, I literally ran that exact same piece until the day I got rid of this Jeep, and it never leaked one bit. I never had any problems whatsoever. Very tried and true. Wasn't too pretty, but it worked. It was functional. And that was the important part. That's what I was after in the beginning. So, alright, you can see here basically how it fits on there. Here I am struggling with it some more. What the heck was I doing? Oh my god. 2016 must have been a rough year, guys. So as you can see, those two little tabs in there, see I'm pointing at them? That's what I was talking about, the piece on the top hat. You can see it pointing down right there. I don't know if, see it? And it fits right in between those two slots. There's two positions for it because this engine was also available for a front-wheel drive application, okay? So they would turn them at the factory. Same parts and everything, they just turned it and then clamped it. So, see how it's held down by two spots? See that one? It lines up with that factory bolt right there, which I believe was a little bracket. I believe it was a little brace of some sort. I think off of the head, but I can't remember. So see, there's nothing on the other side. Now, most factory ones that have a lid like this, or lid, cap, whatever you want to call it, they're usually 180 degrees apart, or it's a 3-bolt flange, 33 degrees off from each other. 33.3, my bad. But anyways, so I was focused on trying to make it 180 degrees apart, so I made this little bracket right here. It's just 16, I think it's 16 gauge stainless steel. I tacked in a little nut. It was just a normal 3/8 16 nut. Now the other side was metric, but this side was standard. It's just what I had at the time. So you see the holes in it, and the way I bent two 45-degree angles, well, 45-ish. Let's say 45-ish, because they're not 45-degree angles. So as you can see how it lines up right here, you look at the fittings. So we got those two fittings on that side, and then the one on the bottom right there. So basically those three fittings are going to hold in that extra nut in order to hold down that top cap. This is the design I came up with. It was a lot of fun doing this project, I'm not going to lie, because it's really awesome letting the juices flow and just seeing what you can come up with and be ingenuitive. And that's part of what we're about here. This channel is called R&D, which stands for research and development. That was because that was for a purpose, and this goes to show you the exact reason I came up with the name of this. I came up with the name of this channel before 2000. It was like 2010 when I came up with this idea for this channel. So I believe that fitting on the other side, I think it was a temperature sensor. I'm not 100%. It's been a long time. So as you can see here, I'm not going to put the O-ring on. I'm just showing you guys. So look at this. So that's our metric bolt on the back side. Like I said, I probably should have kept them both metric. Just make them match. But meh. If I took it apart, I knew what I was dealing with. If I would have ended up producing these and selling them, I would have made everything 100% correct. It wouldn't have been chintzy. But I just kind of let it go. But here you can see the final product. This is dang near 100% how I bolted it on the Jeep, just like this. I mean, there you go. Cap is held down. Obviously, the O-ring would be in there. It was great. I thought about trimming that bolt off. See, the threads, it's almost like they didn't go all the way through, but I ended up, if you guys do it, I think I just went ahead and, you know, hammered on it a couple times with an impact, and it just, you know, it threaded right on through. It wasn't a big deal. It's almost like they stopped the threads right at the very end of the hole. But it passed on through. It worked out great in the end. I don't believe I ended up grinding down that bolt. So this is thread sealant. Now, that's what I ended up using on all the fittings. So the fittings and the sensor that went back in the side. Now, those were the factory plastic ones. They were held in. It was almost like a sealant slash glue. Super hard stuff. That's why that fitting ended up breaking trying to take it out. I mean, yeah, that factory glue stuff, man, that was some tough stuff. But that's why I just ended up using that. And like I said, the way that I made this, that thread sealant, reusing the factory O-ring, everything like that, I never ever had a single leak out of this unit. And it ran, you know, at 200. It was a 200-degree thermostat at this point. It worked perfect. I never had any issues with it. It worked great. So I'm listening to the remainder of this video. I'm rattling on about a fan project with that Jeep. You guys probably don't care about that. It was when I was going to think about going to an electric fan setup. I was going to use a fan out of a Volvo. What a lot of people don't know is that the fan out of Volvos, the ones that come with their own integrated relay pack, it's a special Volvo part. Those actually, so people will go get those as well as the relay pack. They'll trace back the wiring, take the relay pack, and they'll put those in their hot rods. See, a lot of guys will use Ford Taurus fans because they move a lot of CFM. But the bad thing is that the fan is built into the whole radiator shroud. And the cool thing about the Volvo fans is they use the exact same motor, the exact same fan blade. They come with their own relay pack, and the round part of the shroud that goes directly around the blade, it's actually unboltable from the radiator shroud itself. So all you got is a round fan guard, and you can bolt that to whatever your heart desires. You can zip tie it to another radiator or bolt it in or whatever you got going on. So if you guys need a fan that moves a lot of CFMs and has a lot of other perks to it, check into fans out of Volvos. Very good stuff. Hot rodders, everything like that. They've been using them for a long time. They're great units. They're reliable as hell. I mean, they pull some amperage, but any good fan is going to pull some amperage, though. So if you guys got any questions, go ahead. Leave your questions down in the comments section. I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can about that. But I can't believe I still have this block of aluminum. It's crazy thinking that I held on to this, but I guess I did have a period where I was hanging on to a bunch of pointless crap anyway, you know? But this was just inside the drawer of my toolbox. But it's pretty crazy, man. I really like whenever people can come together and share ideas and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong. I'm all about trolling people and, you know, roasting people from time to time and stuff like that. So I'm really glad that I finally was able to get this video out. It's been a long time coming. I've talked about it for a long time. This is, I'll probably have to break this into 2 parts. Yeah, it'll be a 2-parter. But, yeah, if you guys have any questions about this, feel free to PM me or just leave the question down in the comments. Reason for that is somebody else down the line might have the same question as you, and it'll be answered. Come back and see us next time. If you like what you see here, go ahead and hit me with a subscribe and a like if you would. Go ahead and leave some comments. It doesn't matter. Be it good, bad, roast me. I don't care. It's whatever, guys. It's all good. I believe next time I see you, we're probably gonna be. I'll probably be going to the drag strip. Not in my car. I'll just be going to video some stuff. But we got Streetcar Takeover coming up, which I'm super excited about. Streetcar Takeover, guys. I've been wanting to go to it for years, and I've never gotten to. When you live up in the Midwest, man, driving 1,100 miles or whatever just to go to a drag race and an event is kind of out of the cards, especially if you don't have a fast car. It's kind of pointless. But me living so close now, it's a thing, and we're gonna go do it. It's gonna be a lot of fun. All right, well, I'll catch you guys next time. Come back and see us. Peace.